Hello, Country Changers. Welcome back to another webinar. This feature month is Leeton, and I am joined by the Leeton Mayor, Tony Reneker. Thanks for joining us, Tony.
No worries. Good afternoon.
So it's really great to talk with mayors because I find they're a great opportunity to share some of their personal experiences about living in a town, but then also share some of those strategical political spaces as well. So you moved to Leeton in 2000, born and bred in Sydney. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your country change experience?
Oh, look, as you said, I was born and raised in Sydney, went to school in Sydney, joined the police force when I was in my early 20s and spent most of my working career travelling around the state. So I always say that I'm a good judge of country towns and country areas. So I always give the Riverina generally and Leeton specifically as being a great place to live, a place to bring kids up, and just a wonderful place for that work-life balance.
So moving from the police force, and then I know you served a couple of terms as a councillor. What inspired you to make that move and make that commitment, I guess, in a new direction of public service?
I think it comes down to I'm just trying to serve the community. I think it's a great place to live. I've been involved in a number of community organisations on a volunteer basis, and I thought becoming a councillor was just the next step. Also very cognizant that you can't sit back and be critical of people. You're prepared to have a go yourself. And our council is well regarded, but I was just keen to go on there and a positive influence to it. So that was my motivation joining the council.
How would you describe the community?
Leeton, or Leeton Shire, always come up with the word resilient, first of all. It can be tough in the country area sometimes. Over the years, we've had droughts and floods, and some of our workplaces are going to be closed down, of course, of the droughts. But our community over the years has been very resilient, very keen to get behind you, and it's just one of those things where you feel wanted in the place. That's how I've always talked about being here. So it's pretty wonderful.
Now, tell me a little bit about the diversity of the community, because I know Leeton's very strong with attracting migrants to the area, and that's a big focus and I guess standout for your shire.
Yeah, look, we're part of the New South Wales Grow program, which was launched here in Leeton only last year. That's about getting people from western suburbs of Sydney, migrants, to come down to the country. We've been successful. We've had so far only had one family move down here. They're now part of the community. The kids go to the local school. They're working in town. They've got out of the city area and come down here to experience the benefits of living in a rural shire. So it's been pretty successful. With our workforce, we need workers, all types of things. And some of those migrants have been able to fill those vacancies we have here. So it's a win-win for both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of the location, let me just share my screen, actually. There we go. In terms of Leeton and industry, you're talking about a lot of jobs being available. With the map there, we can see the position of Leeton just southeast of Griffith, but you've got a lot of great road networks to Melbourne and Sydney. So can you just explain what kind of industry and opportunities exist at the moment?
Yeah, look, I think first of all, the main point is obviously that we're part of the Murrumbidgee irrigation area, or the MIA. So there's plenty of water in our shire and the surrounding areas as well. What that means is that we're able to grow a whole diversity of crops, from rice to grapes to wheat to oranges, everything. And as a result, there's a lot of work in the agricultural field. But interestingly enough, manufacturing is probably our biggest employer in town. So those, for example, the oranges we've got a juice factory in town. We've got the sunrise, we've got the crop rice industry as well. So those add-on sort of industries popped up, which means that manufacturing is our biggest employer. Second is agriculture, and third, interesting too, is education. We've got two very large high schools, the Reneker high school, it's Francis Catholic College. They attract people from across the state and borders. So education is a big employer as well in this area.
Yeah, so lots of opportunity for people outside of the ag industry as well, because I think that's a bit of a misconception that if you move to a country area, well, you've got to work in ag.
Yeah, that's a great point. You know, it's not. There's all those flow on. Because there's those industries, in families, children. So we do bigger schools, and we've got great sporting facilities here. As a result, we've got all codes of football and, you know, netball and basketball. Everything's great. So a very strong sporting team. Also got a very group of people involved in the arts and cultural side, which is interesting as well in a country location. Some people think you're going to have to give that up, but come to this location, I can assure you there's a great community in the arts and cultural side.
Yeah, and I think that side is really getting strengthened in regional areas, which is really exciting to see, because the cost of living and operations of overheads of operating a business in regional areas is so much lower. So it's really attracting some innovative thinking and ways of doing business. Is that your experience as well?
You know, I think our farmers, the nation, we've got some great examples around the place. Our Murray cod, for example, the aqua industry that's taken off, and we're selling Murray cod across the world. Our rice industry sells, I think 74% of our rice actually exported overseas. So it's great opportunities there.
So from a lifestyle perspective, if you're wanting to raise children, or perhaps you're retired and want to go and live your life, what kind of activities and lifestyle opportunities are there for people?
Yeah, what I always tell my friends in the cities is that here in Leeton, surrounding villages such as Whitton and Yanko, kids can walk to school in safety. It's a really safe area. Whilst, you know, of course, there's all buses available, but I know in the city, some parents are very reluctant for kids to walk to school. So there's that sense of safety, and people looking out for you, which I think is a really point. Apart from that, as I said, we've got plenty of sporting facilities. We've got our golf course right in town. You play golf, you walk there from home. It's great. We've got swimming pool, great regional swimming pool. There's plenty of opportunities for people, as I said, play sport, and also that arts and culture side as well. So there's that. And look, if you retire, if you like fishing, you're 5 minutes from the river. Go on and on how good it is down here. But, that's why, look, I've been here. I moved here in 2000 and haven't left. So that's how good it is.
And in terms of someone who might be considering a tree change from a city area, what would your recommendations be around settling in and finding your feet?
Well, I think when you come to these locations, soon find accept almost straight away, because if you're working, you've got that whole work sort of background with people there. The kids are going to school; they'll be involved in there as well. So it's very readily accepted. I suppose the first thing I would say would be come down first of all and look around, see what's down here for yourself. Not just what I say. So I think you'd be very surprised. I think a lot of people come to town. They say all the time, "I can't believe this. I thought it was going to be some sort of desert area." So it's just beautiful. So I think it's really worthwhile coming down and check out the area itself, and the facilities available for the family.
Yeah, absolutely. And if people want to, I'll share my screen again. If people want to find out more about Leeton Shire, they can head to the Country Change website, countrychange.com.au, head to the Leeton page under Plan a Visit. And under there will be a lot more information, reinforcing, I guess, what Tony's been saying, contact details, a little bit more information about housing, climate, transport, and then all those big conversation items around health, medical, education, recreation, careers, etc. And of course, if people have any questions, they can reach out to the contact on the page, or reach out to our Country Change crew. And there's also a couple of videos on there as well, which will give you a good indication visually of Leeton and some of those tree change stories. But before we wrap up, Tommy, was there anything else that you'd like to add to share with our tree change market?
Well, I've only had a short bit of time to talk. I could talk for hours about it. I really want to stress that find it for yourself. Make the trip down here. It's only 6 hours from Sydney, 5 hours from Melbourne, and 4 hours from Canberra. Come across here and have a look around. I think you'd be very, very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, look, and I think as well, what's really important to stress is Leeton Council, as well as other LGAs, are really on the lookout to support people in their move. And I know that if you come with questions around opportunities, industry, jobs, housing, any other kind of questions like that, they're always more than happy to facilitate and make connections and introductions. So don't be afraid to reach out.
Very true.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate it. And hopefully you'll get some calls and new residents in Leeton very soon.
Thank you very much for your time. Good on you.
Thank you, Tony.